Hello everyone, it's Jason again, and I actually thought, given how fun last night's Quora reading was, I'm going to be doing another one today. I've just clicked on a suggestion here and I thought it was quite interesting. It says, what do police do if a child points a Nerf gun at them? Well, I think that mainly depends on where they are. In the US, they just shoot them, and in the UK, or Britain as I call it, they run away. Let's see what the apparent answer is. Police officer pulled the trigger. The officer dove left, took aim with his own Nerf gun, and that's quite funny, and returned fire. Yes. Let's have a look. Can someone illegally cross the border and then seek asylum in the US legally? They can do that. Happens pretty often, and they will seek asylum regardless of their circumstances. What else have we got? Is Hulk immortal? Well, that's a pretty interesting question. If we're talking about the spirit of Hulk, then quite clearly it's lived on for a rather long time. But is Hulk immortal? Well, like any other mammal, we can expect that he's not. He's a hybrid between like an animal and a human, which technically are one and the same. But I suppose he's mortal. Just reading through some of my. Let's have a look what this one says. If the British Parliament and Prime Minister all died in a nuclear fire, would the Queen be in charge of running the British government? Well, I mean, that sounds pretty horrendous to think that anyone ends up dying, but let's assume that were to happen. Well, I think the Queen would be in charge of her own brigade out of the country. I don't think she'd be staying behind to run things, actually, if things got that bad. I think she would storm off and leave to safety. So what's your view on President Trump's tweet? President and Mrs. Obama built 10-foot wall around their DC mansion. The US needs the same thing, slightly larger version. Well, my view is just he's merely pointing out a hypocritical stance, and he's was leveraging the Obamas, since they're the most relevant politicians since he took office anyway, that people remember, at least on the Democratic side. What have we got here? Don't really know how to answer that one. Okay, there's not really any more good questions actually, but I will actually refer. I thought more about that question yesterday on the Vibranian. I didn't really answer the question per se, even at least if we're assuming that Vibranian does exist. I probably sort of skived the question a little. So having thought about it, I'll say this. The Vibranian shield is made 100% out of Vibranian, whereas vehicles like those which are destroyed in Black Panther are made not only of Vibranium but other materials that aren't destructible, like rubber, glass windows, leather seats. So it makes sense then that, given that not all of it is made from Vibranium, that you can actually destroy those materials that aren't made out of Vibranium. And even the parts, the chassis that are made from Vibranium, they're often pieces that have been bolted together, or components that have been attached to each other, and all because the individual constituents of those materials are made from Vibranium, doesn't mean to say they can't be blown to smithereens apart into their separate parts. So I think that answers that.